Hey, Washington RIA community. One of the questions that I get asked quite a bit is, what is a typical deal in the Washington, D.C. metro area? So today, I want to show you a little bit of a typical deal. This house is going to closing tomorrow, and I always like to run by real quick, or my general contractor, just to walk through the house to make sure everything is okay. But I want to show you this, and in a later video, I'm going to go through the numbers and show you what a typical deal is here in D.C. In fact, I got this house from a referral. I did this house across the street a year and a half, 2 years ago. So these folks got in touch with us and we put a nice deal together. So let's walk in here. Again, it's very typical. You'll see some similarities if you've seen videos of mine in the past. You see similar patterns of colors. I am what you call a production renovator. So in my buy, renovate, and sells, I try to keep things simple. I try to use the same materials for a period of time. Try to use the same kitchen, same paint color, same flooring, same appliance package, so we kind of make it easy for our contractors to know exactly what we're doing. But this, again, typical 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house layout. And as I said, as I go back to the office and I have a chance to walk through all the numbers for you, you'll see what is typical in a lot of these deals. New windows, new roof, very nice clean house. Went under contract fairly quickly, and we're going to closing tomorrow. So just walking through. So again, if you're looking for buy, renovate, and sells, you need any help, please reach out. But this is very, very typical. Just a nice single family home where we're taking the existing floor plan, here's the backyard, and we're just updating it. And again, we'll walk through the numbers. This one worked out very, very well. I won't bother you with upstairs, just very typical bedrooms with some carpeting, some updated baths, and that's what we got. So tune into the next video if you want to walk through the numbers of a typical real estate deal here in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Hey, Washington RIA community. I wanted to share this final video with you on a typical deal in the D.C. metro area. If you've been following us, I posted a few videos. Number one, walking through the house, if you will, right before closing. We always want to do that to make sure there's broken pipes or nothing that on the walkthrough for the buyers the last time will disrupt the deal. So I always do that, and I showed you the house, a little bit about the inside. And then I also posted a video about post-closing. That's our favorite time in the process, obviously, because that's when we get paid. I remember when I was first starting out, and you probably be very similar. When you got your first few deals, you were so excited to get the house. You spent a lot of time at the house during the renovation process and so forth, and that was super, super exciting. But the most important part, the most exciting part, is getting that check at closing. That's when you get paid. So that clearly is the most important. And today I just wanted to run through some of the numbers for you, because this past deal was extremely typical. First, let me show you a little bit of the house here. This was as-is picture as we bought it. You can see that. That's how the house looked when we first bought it. Not too bad. Again, very typical suburban house in this area. I'm going to go through the numbers with you. Let me show you just another screen here as we go through this. Bear with me here a minute. So this is the after picture. This is the after picture. And you can see nothing too fancy, just new windows, a new roof, cleaned up the siding, painted the siding, did a little landscaping on the yard, and we have a nice property there. Let me show you a little bit of before and after in the inside with the kitchen. You see a little bit of a dramatic change there. This was the as-is picture for the kitchen. Old brown cabinets, old white appliances, old linoleum floors. You see some paneling in the back there. And then this is the new kitchen, a little nicer, if you will. Let's go to that and see here. So again, this is a standard kitchen for us. We're production renovators, if you will. All of our kitchens look very similar. We use the same appliance package. We use the same wolf cabinetry. We're still into white. We're thinking about changing up. We do like the black hardware. I know some people have gone to gold, and some nice granite countertops. Again, we just try to present to everybody just a nice, if you will, product. Nothing too fancy. These are production type deals. And then let's give you just one last look here at the living room. Nothing special, but just want to show you this. Again, this is very typical living room. Vinyl plank flooring, new windows, some neutral paint, and that should do it for you. So again, this isn't on renovation. This is on some of the numbers, but I wanted to give you a look on what that looks like. So the next screen I'm going to show you is something that I use. And again, there's software out there. Folks, you can do anything you want. The bottom line is if you're just starting out, or if you want to grow your business and you want to get down to the point where you know exactly what you need to offer for a house, you need to go through this exercise a few times. Because I've seen way too many investors paying way too much for properties. Numbers don't lie. Remember that. Numbers do not lie. And I'm sure you can massage them a little bit. You can take away here. You can add a little bit here. But the bottom line is you need to get to know your numbers before you can really go out there and start making good offers. So let me just share this screen with you, if you will. Here we go. So this is just a property analysis worksheet. And again, you can do anything you want on this property. I actually use this sheet as a way to negotiate a little bit with the potential seller, but you always start out with the projected sale price. By the way, I have an explanation for each of these little categories here, and if you want it, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to send that to you in a file so you can read through this and get to know some of these numbers. But let me run through these real quick. First, we start with the sales price. I thought this property, this is a suburban house in Southern Maryland, I thought once we finished the renovation, it'd be worth $430,000. In our explanation, we show you how to get that after repair value, how you get, that's where you start. You need to know what a house is worth, what other houses in that neighborhood are selling for, in order to have any idea of where to start. So you really definitely want to get going on that part of the piece of the puzzle. The second part is settlement expenses. This is what you pay when you sell the house. Factor in Maryland and DC, 1.5%. Virginia is going to be a little bit less. All right, real estate commission. This is what you're going to pay a realtor to bring you a buyer. Now, I have a real estate license, so I list all of my inventory, but that's going to range anywhere from 2.5% to 5%, or maybe less, depending if you find your own buyer, depending what your realtor might charge you. But factor in a real estate commission. Remember, if you don't factor these numbers in and they come to existence, that's money right out of your pocket, So you don't want to be surprised into the journey, if you will, and say, wow, I'm going to make $30,000 on this deal, and all of a sudden have to pay a realtor $10,000 to find you that buyer. So make sure you factor some of that in as you go through this process, okay? The next thing, closing help the purchaser. We're in a market where the buyers have a little more leverage, 0 to 3%. Cost of funds, this is what you're going to pay a bank or a private investor. I factor in 1% a month. I came up with that calculation. Again, if you ask us to send you some of the explanations here, we'll send you that. You can figure out how we came up with that $12,000. But basically, that's 6 months at up $100,000 a month for money. Builder's risk insurance, I just factor in at straight $1,000. This insures you in case the house burns down. Closing costs on purchase. This is when you buy the house. See all these expenses? There's a lot of expenses that go into these houses, and you have to make sure that you understand this in order to make good, fair offers. It is going to come out of your pocket one way or the other. So that's $8,000 when you buy the house. Our expenses around this area are very high. Utilities, I factor in a straight $1,000. We use very little water. We try to keep the heat in the winter reasonable. We try to keep the air conditioning in the summer, if you're doing a project then, reasonable. That comes out to be just about right. Remember, these don't have to be exact, but they have to be really, really close. Really, you don't know anything about renovation. You need to get educated on that. You need to spend time at some of the supply houses, get to know what prices are for certain things. Renovation has gone up incredible in the last couple of years with inflation. We used to be able to do a house like this for maybe 40, 45. Now we're at 60, $65,000. Then you add up all those numbers, right? And once you have all those numbers added up, you do a simple subtraction, you go back to that, and you come down to that number, 332. And then you want to factor in your profit. How much money do you want to make? Folks, $40, $50, $60,000 on projects in our area are typical. These are suburban houses that you're retrofitting. You're not going downtown in the gutting things. Obviously, your renovation will be much, much exponentially higher. You range for $250 to $300,000 for a deal like that. But when you're going in and replacing kitchens, a little bit of updating baths, flooring, some windows, you can get in that $50 range. So that brings me down, when you subtract all this, to an acquisition price of $282,000. All right. And when I walked out of that settlement the other day, I had a check in my hand. I had the closing paperwork in my hand. And was it $50,000? Well, it was real close. I'd pay 282 for the house. I actually paid 265, so that gave me another 17 grand. My renovation was a little bit less. Okay, it took about the time. My cost of funds was a little higher because I borrowed a little bit more, so my cost of funds kind of jumped up 15 grand that I paid a private investor to allow me to do this deal. I did pay a 2.5% real estate commission. I did end up paying $12,000 for closing help. Okay, so that offsets some of the acquisition price. So our bottom line profit on this deal was about 200 would be wonderful. It was in the mid 50s, mid to upper 50s, about $56,000, $57,000 on this particular property, which is not unusual. It took about 4.5 months, so we saved a little bit on the cost of funds. So very typical deal. So as you go out, if you want some of this investment analysis with explanations behind it, reach out to us. You have our phone number, you have my text, you have our email. Go ahead and do that. We're happy to send that to you. Go over it with you if you like. I'm here to help you. As you know, our videos are supposed to be practical, something you can use. Now, if you're an experienced investor, you already know these numbers. They're probably locked in your head. But again, you can use some of this to work with the seller. I literally sometimes take this sheet, go through this with the seller, come down to this line and ask them, is this going to work for you or not? And if they say yes, great. If they say no, we go back to this and we try to massage these to try to get them to understand that we have lots of costs in these deals, okay? Lots of costs. And they understand that we're not retiring on one deal. So I hope this helped. Watch a few of these videos. You'll see the house. You'll see some of the process. You'll walk through some of the numbers. And I think if you practice this, you'll get very confident in going out and making good offers. That's the key. Got to get some leads. Got to make some offers. If we can help anyway, just reach out and be happy to follow up with you and help you out. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.